If you're in the mood for some really good literary fiction, we have picked our top 5 new recommendations for you. So the first book I want to talk about is The Yellow Bird Sings by Jennifer Rosner, and this is set in World War II Poland, and it follows a Jewish woman called Rosa and her 5-year-old daughter who have to seek shelter in a neighbour's barn. So while they're in hiding, to soothe her little girl and to help her keep quiet, Rosa tells her this story about a girl in an enchanted garden who must not make a noise, and the yellow bird who sings whatever songs the little girl composes in her head. But then, when their haven is no longer a safe place, Rosa has to make a really difficult decision about whether to keep her daughter with her or whether to give her a better chance of survival on her own. So it's a really moving and powerful book, but it's also a beautiful book, and ultimately it's about hope even in the darkest of times. And then I want to recommend Little Bandage Days by Kira Wilder, which is a really tense, claustrophobic book about a young mother of 2 children whose family moves to Geneva, but the father is out at work most of the day, leaving the mother alone in the house. And so this book is about her slow descent into madness, basically, and she's this unreliable narrator who is convinced certain things happened that we as the reader know can't have happened that way. And what makes it extra tense is the whole way through we get flash forwards, so it's really foreboding the whole way through. You know something terrible has happened, but you don't know exactly what. And it's got this amazing ambiguous ending that everyone in the office was debating for weeks after we finished it, so this one's brilliant. And then there's Mountain Road Late at Night by Alan Rossi, which is another really moving one. So this is about a couple who are driving home from a party late at night on a mountain road when they're in a car accident and they're both killed, and they leave behind a young boy. So this book follows the few days after this accident and goes into the perspectives of various family members and what they're all going through. So it's a story about grief, it's a story about families in crisis, and it's also about the fact that life goes on regardless, which is at once a really sad and scary thing, but also a really hopeful and wonderful thing. And then there's the new Garth Greenwell. So Garth Greenwell is a really beloved literary author, and Cleanness, his latest book, is set in Sofia in Bulgaria and is about an American teacher. And this book is a series of vignettes of his life and his relationship with the man that he loves. So it's a really interesting structure. And this book is essentially about connections. So the connections we make with other people and also with the places that we call home, and also with ourselves. And finally, a really highly anticipated one is The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel, who's the author of Station 11. So this one is set in this amazing glass hotel in Vancouver, and it's got all these intertwining puzzle pieces that it's just a joy to piece them all together. And this book follows a brother and sister who work at this amazing luxury glass hotel, and then we flash forward and back and even into alternate universes to check in on these siblings' lives. So it's every bit as imaginative and haunting as Station 11, and even features some of the same characters, but in this alternate universe where the Georgia flu never happened. So it's a totally separate standalone book, but fans of Station 11 will notice these little Easter eggs. So if you're a fan of literary fiction, I've put together a whole playlist of book break videos where we talk about literary fiction books. So do click through and browse those, and leave us a comment letting us know your favourite literary fiction book. See you next time.